Hello, welcome to a new The Simpsons Hit and Run mobile video. Today we'll see how to download and play it. In this video, I'll show you how to get The Simpsons Hit and Run running on a mobile device, what you need before starting, how to set everything up, and some tips to get the best possible experience. I'll also talk about compatibility, performance, controls, and something very important you should know before downloading any files from the internet. And make sure you stay until the middle of the video, because that's when I'll show you where to find the links you need. So, let's get started. The Simpsons Hit and Run is one of the most popular Simpsons games ever released. The game combines the world of The Simpsons with an open-world driving and action experience. You can explore Springfield, drive different vehicles, complete missions, interact with characters, and discover different areas. One of the reasons so many people still remember this game is its unique combination of comedy, driving, exploration. You can play as different characters throughout the story, and each character brings something different to the experience. The game was originally designed for older gaming hardware, but over the years, fans have become interested in playing it on modern devices. That's where mobile ports and compatibility solutions come in. However, there is an important difference between an official mobile release and a fan-made or unofficial port. Not every version you find online is official. That's why you should always check exactly what version you're downloading before installing anything. If you're using a legitimate port or compatibility solution, follow the instructions provided by its developers. And never download a random file just because the title says The Simpsons Hit and Run Mobile. Before we start the installation, let's talk about what you need. First, you'll need a compatible Android device. The exact requirements can vary depending on the port or compatibility method you're using. A more powerful device will generally provide better performance, especially when you're driving around Springfield at higher speeds. You should also have enough free storage. Remember that you may need more space than the size of the initial download, because additional files can be required during the installation process. It's also a good idea to restart your phone before playing. This can free up memory and close applications that are running in the background. Make sure your device isn't overheating. Gaming for long periods while the phone is already hot can cause performance to decrease. Finally, use a stable internet connection when downloading the required files. A Wi-Fi connection can be especially useful if the files are large. Once everything is ready, we can move on to the next step. Now we're getting to one of the most important parts of this video. If you're looking for the links for the Simpsons Hit and Run mobile port, the links are in the comments. Yes, you heard that correctly. The links are in the comments. Instead of searching through dozens of random websites, check the comments below this video. You'll find the links there so you can check the correct source and follow the installation instructions. But remember, always verify what you're downloading. If a website suddenly asks you to install an unknown application, enter personal information, or disable security features, stop and leave the website. You should never have to take unnecessary risks to install a game. Also, don't assume that every APK with the name The Simpsons Hit and Run is legitimate. Some websites use popular game names to make their downloads look trustworthy, so always check the source before downloading. Again, the links are in the comments. Check them before continuing with the installation. Once you found the correct source, read the instructions carefully before downloading anything. Depending on the port you're using, the installation process can be different. Some ports may require additional game files. Others may use a compatibility layer or another method to run the game. Follow the instructions provided by the port's developers. Download the required files and wait until the downloads are completely finished. Don't interrupt the process. Once everything has been downloaded, follow the installation instructions step by step. If the port requires you to place files in a specific folder, make sure you use the correct folder. Don't randomly move files around because this can prevent the game from finding the resources it needs. After completing the setup, launch the game. The first launch may take longer than normal. This can happen because the game needs to prepare its files. Give it some time. If everything is configured correctly, you should eventually see the game's main menu. Now let's talk about controls. The Simpsons Hit and Run was originally designed with a traditional controller in mind, so playing on a touchscreen can feel different at first. Take a few minutes to learn the controls before starting a difficult mission. Try walking around, try entering a vehicle, test the camera, and practice accelerating and braking. Once you're comfortable with the controls, driving around Springfield becomes much more enjoyable. If your setup supports a compatible controller, you may also want to use one. A physical controller can make driving and camera movement feel much closer to the original experience, but touchscreen controls can still work well once you get used to them. The important thing is to find a control layout that feels comfortable for you. Now it's time to start playing. One of the best things about The Simpsons Hit and Run is simply exploring Springfield. Drive around the different areas, look at the environment, interact with characters, and explore the city between missions. The game isn't only about getting from one mission to another. There are also collectibles, hidden areas, shortcuts, and different vehicles to discover. Driving is also a huge part of the game. Each vehicle can feel different. Some are faster, some are easier to control, and some are simply fun to drive. Take your time and enjoy the world. If you're playing this game again after many years, you may even recognize locations and missions that you remember from the original experience. That's one of the reasons this game continues to have such a strong community. If you're experiencing lag or low frame rates, there are several things you can try. First, close unnecessary applications running in the background. Second, restart your phone before playing. Third, make sure your device isn't overheating. Fourth, check whether your port has graphics or performance settings. If there are settings you can adjust, try lowering them if your device struggles. You can also make sure you have enough free storage. If the game crashes, don't immediately assume that your phone isn't powerful enough. The problem could be compatibility between the port and your version of Android. In that situation, check the documentation or instructions provided by the port developers. Using a different random APK isn't always the solution. In fact, it can create additional problems. So always try to identify the actual cause of the issue before changing files. Before we finish, let's talk about fake downloads. You may see websites advertising things like unlimited money, unlocked content, modified versions, or special features. Be careful with these claims. A modified APK is not automatically an official version. It may have been changed by someone else and could be outdated or incompatible. Some downloads can also contain unwanted software. Never enter your passwords on suspicious websites. Never disable security features just to install a file. And don't install additional applications that you don't recognize. If something looks suspicious, don't use it. Go back to a trusted source and check the information again. Remember, the safest approach is always to use legitimate sources and follow the instructions provided by the developers. Let's quickly recap everything. First, make sure you're using the correct Simpsons Hit and Run mobile port. Second, check your device compatibility. Third, make sure you have enough storage. Fourth, download the required files from a trusted source. Fifth, follow the installation instructions carefully. Configure your controls. Seventh, adjust performance settings if necessary. And finally, avoid suspicious downloads and modified files from unknown websites. If you follow these steps, you should have a much better chance of getting the game running correctly. And remember, if you're looking for the links are in the comments. And that's how you can install and play The Simpsons Hit and Run on mobile. We covered the mobile port, what you need before installing it, how to set it up, how to configure the controls, how to improve performance, and how to avoid suspicious downloads. And remember, the links are in the comments. If this video helped you, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more mobile gaming tutorials, installation guides, gaming tips, and classic games on mobile. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if this was helpful. See you in the next video. Goodbye.